Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about the latest deal from Mike Lindell, MyPillow. Once again, the big box stores have canceled their orders simply because they don't agree with Mike Lindell's politics. They don't like it because he supports President Trump. Well, he's going to pass that savings on to you. No more middleman. And boy, does he have some great deals on the Giza Dream sheets and the Percal bed sheets. Listen to this. Giza Dream queen size, normally $139.98. Your wholesale price, $69.99 when you use promo code Joey. King size, only $79.99. The Percal queen size, normally $89.98. Your wholesale price, $29.98 when you use promo code Joey. Just call 1-800-893-4059 or go to mypillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. Free shipping options available. This allotment's not going to last very long. When they're gone, they're gone. mypillow.com. Promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Welcome in. Thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Former Representative Katie Porter, a Democrat candidate in California's crowded gubernatorial primary, is facing some backlash after saying illegal immigrants are driving population growth in California, a claim long advanced by Republicans but denied by the Democrats. Did she just say what we think she said out loud? A Washington State driver allegedly chased a boy on a dirt bike onto a sidewalk and tried to run him down before later attempting to enter a stranger's home, only to be released from jail the very next day. She has stayed overnight. There'll be no Triple Crown possibility for Golden Tempo, the long shot horse that won the Kentucky Derby last weekend. His trainer announced yesterday he is going to rest and take it easy for a bit. And Alex Seda, chairman of the Pickens County Council, joins us with the latest on the efforts of a group who wants to, quote, save the Greenville-Pickens Speedway, which is part of a larger development on the site on the Greenville-Pickens County line. It's a busy day. Let's get started.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
So here we have former Representative Katie Porter again. She's one of the many Democrats running to be governor of California. She's facing some backlash now after she said that illegal immigrants are driving population growth in her state. This has been a claim that Republicans have advanced for quite some time, but they are always Democrats always push back on it. Here's what she said. The sanctuary state policy is designed to make sure that our state resources, the taxpayer dollars, the public servants that we have, are focusing on doing their jobs, which is not cooperating with the federal immigration authorities. I'll repeat that part. She openly says that state employees are not to cooperate with federal immigration authorities. She goes on to say, these are Californians. They contribute to our economy. She's talking about illegals now. They pay taxes, and they're one of the only ways that our state has been growing in recent years. So in other words, they want the illegals to come to California because all the people with a bit of common sense and a little bit of money don't want to pay the high taxes and put up with the nonsense. They're leaving California. Gunther Eagleman is a popular conservative commentator. He accused Porter of saying the quiet part out loud by stating that illegal immigrants have mitigated population decline in California. He posted on X, Katie Porter accidentally admits out loud that Californians are fleeing California and are being replaced by imported illegals. She said it. I mean, that's what she meant. Republicans, including the president, have accused Democrats of resisting efforts to deport illegal immigrants because they believe it would cost them seats in the House of Representatives, which it will. I mean, some of the preliminary maps show California probably losing maybe 5 House districts or more, with Texas and Florida picking some up. Illegal immigrants counted by the census help determine the total number of House seats that a state is entitled to. Now, I've never quite understood that anyway. why our census counts illegals, but it does. That's the system. Counts every human being in the country. Now, another poster on X said in response to Porter's comment, so she's saying Cali has too many seats in the House. Now, while Trump and others have attempted to add citizenship or the question of citizenship to the census in an effort to remove non-citizens from calculations determining the number of House seats each state has, the Constitution does not mention citizenship status in relation to congressional apportionment. Republican Communications Operative Steve Guest, also writing on X, said California is cooked. Katie Porter says criminal illegal aliens are the only ways that California has been growing in recent years. Democrats have been in total control of California for the last 16 years, he points out. An estimated 400,000 illegal immigrants entered California between 2021 and 2023. This is according to the Public Policy Institute of California. Between July 2021, July 2023, California's overall population grew just under 20,000. This is per a publication from the California Department of Finance. The 1X account wrote, responding to Porter and alluding to this allegation of domestic violence against gubernatorial the candidate, says that's because all the billionaires, millionaires, big businesses, and anyone that can afford it is leaving California faster than you pouring a pot of boiling hot potatoes on your ex-partner's head. Katie Porter she's just a piece of work, isn't she? I'm glad she's in California and not in South Carolina. Now, according to California's Legislative Analyst Office, California saw a net population loss of 215,542 from domestic migration in 2025 compared to a net gain of over 125,000 from foreign migration that same year. Migration out of California has cost the state billions of dollars per year in tax revenue. Katie Porter doesn't seem to care. Now, while this is going on in California, let's just go up the road a bit, just up in Seattle, Washington. Let's take the drive up the Coastal Drive, which is a beautiful drive, by the way. If you've never done so, you need to make time at some point to hold your nose and start in Seattle and drive down the coast all the way down through Oregon and California. It is beautiful country. Too bad the people in those states are just so confused. So up the road in Seattle, the Seattle City Council president said that she works with two budgets, her district's budget and, quote, the black budget, and urged black residents to unite as the most powerful political party in Seattle. Joy Hollingsworth is her name. She's president of the Seattle City Council. She also represents District 3 on the City Council. She told attendees at the State of Africatown 2026 conference how she has advocated for the black budget to be reflected in the city's general budget. This public town hall focused on advancing Seattle's black community. It was held earlier in the spring. But Hollingsworth's remarks mentioned by Seattle talk show host Jason Rantz just became somewhat viral. Hollingsworth told the audience, so I got two budgets every time I go to council member Dan Strauss every year. I have a District 3 budget, and then I have a black budget. Her remarks came just days before Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson ordered city agencies to cut their budgets for next year by 5 to 10%. Seattle is facing a projected budget deficit of $140 million for the 2026 fiscal year. They're going broke because Washington State's losing people too. Not as much as California, but people are fed up with Seattle particularly. It's such a beautiful city, but yet they have allowed the left to take control of it. And when you allow the left to take control of your city, it never has a good ending. During this address, Ms. Hollingsworth talked about how she assembled roughly 70 black residents to testify last year on the city's budget, dubbing it Black Budget Day. She said it is important that they see us, that they hear us, that we just don't show up for certain things that we are down here advocating for. There are political parties in Seattle, and I believe that if black people come together, we can be the most powerful political party in the city of Seattle. We have to coalesce our power, she said. Rance invited Hollingsworth on his radio show to explain what she meant by the term black budget, suggesting that whether she meant it as a literal budget or a term used for political branding. Either way, he said it's a problem. He wrote, but we'd rightly call out a white budget. And it's worth asking why Hollingsworth doesn't appear eager to offer other constituents their own budget. Perhaps she doesn't care enough about Asians or Latinos. Wow. The world is crazy, and it's getting crazier every day. Text me, email me, joey@joeyhudson.com. There's a moment no one wants to talk about with weight loss. It's the moment it stops working. Joey Hudson here. The diet that worked before doesn't. The workouts don't hit the same. Even eating less stops moving the scale. That's not random. That's your body protecting itself. Because when your body thinks it's under stress, it slows your metabolism, holds on to fat, and fights you every step of the way. That's why quick fixes eventually fail. Even the popular GLP-1 shots, they suppress appetite, but they don't fix what caused the problem. At PhD Weight Loss, they focus on restoring your metabolism so your body stops fighting you. That's when the real change happens. And right now, when you call and mention Joey, you're going to get 2 weeks free, and they'll pay for the cost of your food. Just call 864-644-1900. Do it right now and get ready for the summer. That's 864-644-1900, or go to myphdweightloss.com, because the goal isn't to lose weight once. It's to never have to start over again. Call today and tell them Joey sent you. A terrifying moment caught on camera, a driver allegedly trying to run down a boy on a dirt bike. But the story doesn't end there, because she was reportedly back out on the street, out of jail, the very next day. This turned into a shocking sidewalk chase involving a child, allegations of DUI, attempted assault charges, and a story that is exploding online for one reason. People want answers. So we have a terrifying story out of Washington State. It's sparking outrage online after authorities say a woman chased a young boy with her car onto a sidewalk in what investigators are calling an attempted assault. Roll the tape.
What in the hell? This lady's crazy. She's trying to run. Oh my God. No kidding. Oh my God.
And if that wasn't disturbing enough, she was reportedly released from jail the very next day without having to post bond. Now, folks, this is one of those stories that instantly gets your attention, especially if you're a parent or a grandparent, because according to investigators, it wasn't an accident. The incident happened Monday evening in Spokane, Washington. Authorities say 56-year-old Wendy Clemente allegedly drove her silver sedan onto a residential sidewalk while chasing a child who was simply riding his dirt bike. Now, think about that for a second. Investigators say this happened in a neighborhood on a sidewalk where kids are supposed to be safe. According to Spokane County Sheriff's Office, the boy was not injured, thankfully, but witnesses reportedly captured video showing the vehicle pursuing the child down the sidewalk, and that's how we know what really happened. That video quickly helped deputies identify the suspect's vehicle and began searching for Ms. Clemente. And according to authorities, things got a little stranger from there. Here's what happened next. About an hour later, deputies responded to another call roughly a mile away involving a suspected burglary or trespassing incident. A homeowner monitoring security cameras reportedly saw a woman walking around the property trying door handles as if she was trying to get into the house. Now, when deputies arrived, they found Miss Clemente in the driveway. Kind of suspicious, isn't it? Investigators say she initially denied wrongdoing, gave deputies a bizarre explanation, allegedly claiming that she was simply looking for dogs for her dog to socialize with. So she's walking through the neighborhood trying to get into people's houses. Now, authorities also say that she claims she didn't remember the earlier incident involving the young man on the dirt bike. According to deputies, they noticed signs of impairment. At first, investigators say Clemente denied drinking alcohol. Later, authorities say she admitted to consuming some alcohol. Deputies say when they attempted to place her into a patrol vehicle, she resisted and even tried to kick a deputy. So they later obtained a warrant for a blood draw as part of the DUI investigation. She was booked into jail for charges including attempted first-degree assault, DUI, and first-degree criminal trespass. And then came the part of the story that's generating major reaction online. According to the sheriff's office, a court commissioner ordered her released the very next day on her own recognizance, meaning she did not have to post bond to get out. No injuries were reported in either incident. Again, thankfully. Now look, in America, every person is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We all admit that. We acknowledge that. That's important. But stories like this are fueling a growing national debate over criminal justice policies, pretrial release decisions, and public safety concerns. Many Americans are increasingly asking whether courts are releasing potentially dangerous individuals too quickly, especially in cases involving allegations of violence, impaired driving, or threats to children like this case. And when you combine that with the dramatic video footage and emotionally charged allegations, these stories spread fast online because they hit people at a very personal level. Parents see their own child. Grandparents see their grandchildren. Neighbors see a residential sidewalk. Communities see a system they expect to protect people before someone gets hurt. Now, I want to hear from you. Be sure and drop your comments. Do you believe courts are becoming too lenient when it comes to releasing suspects accused of violent behavior? Or do you believe the justice system is simply following due process until someone is convicted? Now, back to the story. One reason this is resonating nationally is because it taps into a broader feeling many Americans have right now, that public behavior has become more unpredictable, more aggressive, and in some cases, just dangerous. Road rage incidents are rising. Violent confrontations are being caught on cell phone video almost every single day. And increasingly, people are seeing behavior that once would have shocked communities, but now have become normalized online. That doesn't mean every allegation is true. Doesn't mean every suspect is guilty, but it does mean the public is paying very close attention to how these incidents are handled. And frankly, when allegations involve a child being chased with a vehicle, people are going to react emotionally. There's also another issue here that shouldn't be ignored: mental health and substance abuse. Questions are increasingly intersecting with law enforcement encounters across America that involve these types of things. Deputies reportedly observed signs of impairment in the case. Authorities also say the suspect claimed not to remember the earlier incident. Something's going on there, right? Again, those allegations are from investigators, but they point to a larger conversation that communities everywhere are having about addiction, public safety, and accountability. And at the end of the day, Americans want balance. They want fairness in the justice system, but they also want to know dangerous behavior will be taken seriously before somebody gets seriously injured, or worse, they're killed. Thankfully, no one was hurt in this incident. But this story is already becoming another flashpoint in the national conversation over crime, accountability, and public safety. Be sure and text me, email me, joey@joeyhudson.com. Leave me a message on the MyPillow message line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. The Kentucky Derby last week was probably one of the most exciting that I've seen in recent years. We learned yesterday that there will be no Triple Crown possibility, though, for the winner, Golden Tempo. Golden Tempo was the long shot horse that won the Derby last week, came literally from last place to first place to win. Trainer Cherie Duval announced yesterday that the owners and she had decided that it's best for the horse to skip the Preakness Stakes, which is the next leg of the Triple Crown, with sights set on the Belmont Stakes instead on June the 6th. In a statement, she said, "We're incredibly appreciative of the excitement and support surrounding the possibility of a Triple Crown." And by the way, Duval became the first woman to train a Derby-winning horse too. That was another part of the excitement. And the owner is a woman as well. First woman owner to have a horse to win the Kentucky Derby. She went on to say, Golden gave us the race of a lifetime in the Kentucky Derby, and we believe the best decision for him moving forward is to give him a little more time following such a tremendous effort. His health, happiness, and long-term future will always remain our top priority. That's not uncommon for the Kentucky Derby winner to forego the Preakness, which is set for May the 16th at Laurel Park in Maryland. Golden Tempo marks the third Kentucky Derby winner in the last 5 years to skip the Preakness. Last year's winner, Sovereignty, was given the extra rest with Belmont in the sights of trainer Bill Mott racing instead. One of the main reasons behind this is just the short timetable, according to the trainers, between the Derby and the Preakness. Trainers and owners, they don't want to push their prized horse with this 2-week turnaround. It's been heavily debated. Has it changed as racing teams keep their horses training instead of competing? So you look, some of you folks who are really more in tune with the horse racing, you probably understand it. It's also worth noting that none of the 18 horses who ran in the Kentucky Derby will be at Laurel Park for the Preakness. Golden Tempo was the only horse considered for the second leg of the Triple Crown, but the team has made their intentions known. Golden Tempo is quite the story, with 23-1 long shot odds, rallied down the final stretch in the 1 1/4 mile race to victory. He's a 3-year-old bay thoroughbred colt. It sent, the cameras were on the owner's box, and boy, were they celebrating. As they should be. It was a great win. On to politics. We've been talking a lot this week about redrawing congressional districts. Governor Henry McMaster announced this week he will not call the legislature back. Legislative leaders are suggesting that they may be able to make redistricting part of their sine die agreement so they could work on it after the official session ends. But while South Carolina is trying to decide what to do, some other southern states are already taking action. The Tennessee General Assembly unveiled a new congressional map yesterday that will likely eliminate their one Democrat U.S. House seat ahead of November's general election. Tennessee is just like South Carolina. They have one congressional district that has been held by a Democrat and is considered the Democrat seat. The legislature is meeting this week in a special session to vote on the new congressional lines following, of course, the Supreme Court decision that allows states more authority to literally ditch racially gerrymandered districts. We don't have to worry about race anymore. Tennessee House Speaker Cameron Sexton, in a statement, said the Supreme Court has opined that redistricting, like the judicial system, should be colorblind. The decision indicated states can redistrict based off partisan politics. Today, Tennessee joins other red and blue states in redrawing their congressional maps. Now, blue states have done this too. I mean, the whole thing that kicked this off, of course, is California. California is trying to protect some of their districts, and rather than waiting for the next time to redraw the lines, they started it early, and it kicked off. It kicked off sort of a domino effect of other states saying, well, if they do it, we're going to do it too. And you have Texas and Florida and other southern red states considering this. And with the Supreme Court ruling, it just opened that door even wider. The map in Tennessee is pretty much guaranteed to pass. They have both a GOP-led House and a GOP-led Senate. The new lines redraw the racially gerrymandered 9th District, which takes in Memphis, which is now represented by U.S. Representative Steve Cohen, a Democrat. Now, as you can imagine, there was some protest in the state capitol. Protesters hoisted signs and chanted "No new maps" in a committee room yesterday, where lawmakers convened to consider a measure that eliminates a prohibition on mid-decade changes to congressional districts. Tennessee is among a growing list of states that are scrambling to do this. Again, South Carolina, legislators began what may be the process here as well, to redraw the map, which will likely eliminate the only seat represented by a Democrat, James Clyburn. Again, we don't quite know where it's headed. There is speculation that South Carolina, by doing this, that South Carolina could be opening itself up to potentially weakening some other districts, like the 1st Congressional District that Nancy Mace is in, that low country area, but takes in some of those other counties like Jasper and through there, that it could weaken that district to the point that a Democrat could potentially win it. I don't know. And this is why I hope the legislature doesn't get in such a big hurry to do this that they don't get it right. Also, the Alabama legislature met this week and also in a special session to consider their congressional map. It would revert to a 2023 map that was drawn by GOP lawmakers at the time. That map would reshape a district represented by Shamari Figures, a black Democrat. Republicans in Alabama also want to eliminate another Democrat-leaning district represented by Representative Terry Sewell, who's also black. So we could pick up a number of congressional seats in the South, in Tennessee, in Alabama, potentially in South Carolina if we eliminated James Clyburn's district. The problem that we're facing, of course, are the primaries are so soon. In South Carolina, of course, June 9th. There's not a lot of time to make any. One theory is, or one thought is that we could just delay the June 9th primary just for Congress, for the congressional seats. Let all the other primaries go through for governor and all the other state constitutional officers and all local elections and state reps, but delay the congressional elections. We'll see. Again, the Supreme Court decision that struck down racial gerrymandering for congressional districts, it started in Louisiana, ruling that the Voting Rights Act can be used to force states to add more minority districts to their maps unless there's clear evidence of racial discrimination. I mean, it just opened the door, and we just learned of this, 2 weeks ago now, and everybody's scrambling to try to do the right thing. That's it for today's show. Tara's up next, followed by the Mike Gallagher Show. Charlie James, Bill Frady in the afternoons. I'm back again at 5 a.m. and your first cup of coffee on Sunrise, Carolina tomorrow. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control. Your comments are welcome on the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Furman Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Furman Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Furman Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Furman, Matthew Furman. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Furman Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Furman Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Furman Ford online at furmanford.com, furmanford.com. This story has stirred up a lot of passion here in the upstate. History, property rights, local government, and the future of a place that means a lot to some people. The Greenville-Pickens Speedway has been a fixture in the community for decades. I remember it as a young boy. Now it's at the center of a growing controversy. There's a push to, quote, save the track, if you will. But how that gets done is where things get a little complicated. Joining me today is Chairman of Pickens County Council, Alex Sata, to walk us through what's really happening behind the scenes and what the path forward might look like. Mr. Chairman, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, for folks who may just be kind of picking up bits and pieces, if you would, just quickly give us the 30,000-foot view of how we got to where we are today.
Well, the track was owned by Kevin Whitaker. I think he closed it in 2022. He then went to sell the track and gave different options to Realty Link. Realty Link has different phases, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and phase 3 is the racetrack. He's already developed 1 and 2, and he wanted to go develop 3. I was not in the leadership 2 years ago when this all started, but I believe the leadership at the time talked to Mr. Wilson, who was Realty Link, and said, is there a way you could sell that track? So he cut it out, and he offered it for sale. I know it was with a real estate agent, and I think they tried. Kevin Whitaker also tried to sell it as well. And for whatever reasons, it hadn't sold. And then I guess in the last early part of this year, he went to go develop that property, which was phase 3, which I think he was going to put a manufacturing plant there, about 300,000 square feet, which would be a good-sized high school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when it all hit. And then that's when honestly, it's not in my district, so it really didn't get on my radar until all this press kind of happened.
Yeah.
I was kind of leaving it to the members over there, the Easley rep and the Dacusville rep, who actually cover that area.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of comments and on social media, of course, a lot of discussion about again saving the track. And so if I'm understanding this correctly, and just some of the things I've read, there was at one point the offer to sell the track at a reduced price to a group if they wanted to buy it and reopen it. But that, I guess, fell through. Was it just simply from a standpoint of they couldn't raise the money?
Well, what happened, it depends who you talk to. I mean, the track was originally offered at $5.6 million, and with the help of Senator Rice, he actually got Realty Link to drop the price to about $4 million, which seemed to be a fair price. From the perspective I saw 2 things. One was the buyer was complaining about some of the terms in the contract, and the seller was complaining there really wasn't proof of funds. It required $250,000 down payment. And when you typically buy real estate, you show a statement that would have that in there, as earnest deposit.
Right.
Or you would have a pre-approval letter or something like that. So the seller was complaining there really wasn't proof of funds. The potential buyer was complaining that there was a lack of term. The terms weren't matching up. I saw the contract. It looked authentic to me. It was about 8 pages. They were only disagreements about half a page. So I was optimistic. I thought it was going to happen, but then it collapsed and it fell through.
Yeah.
And what happened is the leaders of the Save the Racetrack effort then moved to what I call Plan B, which is to ask the council to make it historical. I was initially opposed to that because I didn't think it would protect the site from demolition. I didn't think it would help pay for the site, the track or to restore it. But they insisted, so we voted for it. It was a 6-0 resolution to recognize this track as historic.
Yeah.
Then when the leaders realized that didn't change anything, it then started to go off the rails as far as I was concerned, because I supported those first 2 things. And they started to demand that the county zone the racetrack. Now, if that's done, the owner can no longer sell the property as industrial, commercial, or residential. 98% of his buyers would go away, and the leaders or somebody they approved of would then come in and scoop up the track for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
I saw that for what it was, which was a scheme to wrestle away the track and the 30 acres, at a steep discounted price, and I thought that was awful, and
Sure.
I did not support that.
Sure. My guest today is Alex Seda. He's chairman of the Pickens County Council. We're talking about the effort to try to save the Greenville Pickens Speedway. So basically, if I'm understanding this correctly, Chairman Seda, by using zoning, this would have pretty much made the property worthless for anything other than a racetrack.
Yeah, how many buyers are there for a racetrack?
Yeah.
So few, right? Like I said, 98% of your buyers would go away. A lot of times they'll zone something and say it's residential only. Well, you can make a substantial amount of money if it's residential only or industrial only or commercial only. You have zoning all over the place that way. But if you're just saying a racetrack, something that's real particular, it's 1 out of 1,000 buyers, the price is going to come down substantially. And if you look at the revenue that the track was generating when it closed, the price probably would have fallen from about $4 million to about $500,000.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was something I would not support. I wouldn't do that to you, Joey.
Sure.
I wouldn't want it done to me.
Yeah. Well, and that's my feelings on the whole thing. And the way I approach it is you're basically trying to take someone's property and you're trying to tell someone, an investor or a development group, a business, how to use their property. Now you mentioned the revenue before. Do you guys have some insight into those final years when it was operating as a track? I mean, is there any way possible, based on what you know, that it could ever be operated profitably as a racetrack?
Oh, I don't know. I'm more worried about what's right in front of me. Like, I'm a little worried about giving the government that power, like we just described. I mean, where are we going to find these angels to sit on the county council to use it, that authority responsibly? I mean, and then the racetrack leaders this weekend started to talk about eminent domain. Their words were, they were pitching, if all else fails, we're going to take the racetrack and the 30 acres using eminent domain. And under that option, the owner then has zero choice. Yeah. And it's 100% taking, and it's a true force of government. Yeah. And, I thought that was awful. Yeah. So those two things really just, derailed the whole thing for me.
Right.
Solution.
Chairman of Pickens County Council, Alex Sata, is my guest today. I mean, let's talk about eminent domain, because to me that is a very last resort. And it's my understanding, typically when a government entity uses eminent domain, it's to take property for the public good, for a road that has to be in a particular area. I know, there's a lot of discussion way back when the city of Greenville closed down the Camperdown Bridge so that that we could see the waterfalls. With eminent domain, the county would still have to pay the property owner for the property, right? Is that something that would be in the county's budget?
I looked at the state law. I read the 2 paragraphs on it. It's like there's nothing in there that says a fair market value. I mean, they do an appraisal, and then the county would then offer them a price, and if they didn't accept it, they would just kind of move forward through the courts. Yeah. It seemed very lopsided. Now, how would they value it? Would they value it based on the land that's underneath it, which is worth $4 million? Yeah. Or would they value it based just on the racetrack, which is what you intend to, buy and hold on to, which is probably worth $600,000? Yeah. So I don't know how that would be done, but it's 2 different assets, right? Right. Yeah. And the land underneath it is what, highest and best use is what really gives you the $4 million. Right. Somebody would pay that, evidently, according to, the owner.
Well, I know
the other thing. The thing that concerned me the most, actually, was there was talk at the amongst the chatter amongst the county administration that they wanted us, or people were leaning towards the government or the county buying the racetrack. Yeah. And I just said, I called it a government bailout. I mean, these things rarely go well. It's going to cost $4 million of taxpayer money to buy the track. It's pretty dilapidated. So you would have to get it up to county code, because the county would own it, to make it safe. The lawyers got to approve on it, risk management. That cost would probably be quickly north of $10 million. I know North Wilkesboro in North Carolina, they restored their small track, which is about a little bit more than a half mile. They spent $20 million on it. Yeah. So nothing's cheap today. That scared me a little bit, because we have savings, but that would pretty much cripple our savings. And we have a lot of things that we have to do, like, we're so far behind with all this growth. We got to build another recycle center. We got to reconfigure another recycle center. We've got employees who are in antique buildings and historic buildings. Why don't we, focus on those? Some are 60 years old that, they're crumbling. Right. And we have to replace those, and those are multi-million-dollar fixes that would all go to the back burner if this racetrack got purchased. Yeah. And you have to say, what is the priority of sitting council? Provide police, fire, roads, solid waste, or entertainment through a racetrack. Right. And that was the issue that really hit me.
So I think what I'm hearing you say, and with me is Chairman of the Pickens County Council, Alex Sata. What I think I hear you say, Mr. Chairman, is there are other priorities for the county that are truly serving the public and the citizens and voters of Pickens County, and a racetrack is not pretty high on that list.
Well, it wouldn't be, but again, I think if you could, with all this national interest, and I praise the leaders for that, there's got to be somebody who would come forward with funds in hands, or a group of investors that would be interested. Yeah. And anybody, they can get in contact with anybody on county council, and try to set them up with the owner. Yeah. And see if they could work out a deal. That's the best solution. Right.
Right.
And they would do, buy the track. The government would be out of their hair, and people would get what they want then. So.
Sure. I'm going to make an observation here. One of the things, and I've seen some of those national names in NASCAR who have mentioned, and they've said, we'd like to see the track saved. But so far, to my knowledge, none of them have come forward with a solution or any money to put on the table.
Yeah, and that's what I always ask. I mean, they're going to have this. The county council approved it, a 4-2 vote, and I was, obviously I voted against it.
Yeah.
Is to have a committee to explore all these options.
Yeah.
I won't be on that committee, but one of the things I would suggest to them is option one. Any buyers that the leaders of the Save the Racetrack have and they talk about need to come to that meeting with proof of funds.
Yeah.
Saying, I have money to, put a, earnest deposit down. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Show up with that. That would be the first option I would look at.
Yeah.
And then see if they, have any ability to do any financing or things like that if they have the, the cash to buy it.
Sure.
And I'm hoping that's what happens with that committee, but I'm not sure what they're going to do.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, it's a pleasure to have you on and to hear your side of the story on this. Again, it's a very passionate topic in the upstate, and I appreciate the work that you do. It's not an easy job, the job that you have for sure, but thank you for your time today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined our mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Just click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, find me on YouTube. Be sure and subscribe, follow me on my YouTube channel. Just search for Joey Hudson. Appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day with me. Be sure and forward this edition of Just the Truth to some friends. Just click on the share button. Send it to a few of your contacts, because if we're going to build our community and if we're going to win in November, we got to build an army of conservatives. The way we beat Joe Biden is through educating people, and no better way than encouraging them to listen to Just the Truth. Hey, keep those comments coming via the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Your emails always welcome as well. Joey@joeyhudson.com. Don't forget to take advantage of the MyPillow special, $25 for the My Towels 6-piece towel set when you use promo code Joey. Just go to mypillow.com.